Nemo was a nobody who decided to enroll at the Grand Seed Magic Academy in hopes to help combat evil. His village was suddenly attacked by monsters on the day he was supposed to set off on his new adventure. The powerless boy could only watch as the creatures used the remains of the eaten residents to create more of themselves. The settlement was soon overrun with monsters, and Nemo tried to sneak his way to safety like he was in The Walking Dead. He knew that the situation was dire and didn't expect the academy to come save him since the village had fallen. Things got worse for the boy when a monster spotted him and drove him into the open and surrounded him. The academy's steam train came screaming just when he was about to become the latest addition to the monster horde. Ellen had seen the village on fire. Fortunately for Nemo, the school council president Faria spotted him in his hopeless situation. She majestically jumped off the speeding train and dropped down on Nemo's location with a lightning strike which blew the creatures back. Faria then proceeded to cut her way through to get closer to the boy. She got injured when she saved Nemo from a surprise attack. He was shocked that she would put herself in harm's way for a stranger. Nemo also tried his best to avoid getting eaten as Faria fought hard. They soon ended up with their back against each other. The student president quickly realized that her magic wouldn't be enough to eliminate the horde, so she activated a special power known as a succession, which granted her the power of the hero Eunomia. She used her boost in strength to mercilessly wipe out the remaining monsters. Nemo couldn't believe his eyes. She rushed over to make sure he was okay after the battle. That was when she realized that he was one of the academy's new students. She teared up because she managed to save at least one person from this disaster. Nemo was given a lift on the train, and Faria tried to make him comfortable by serving coffee and snacks. He had never had some before. Nemo found it to be bitter, so she suggested he add sugar to sweeten it. He was more concerned about her injury and finding out why she protected him. Faria stated that it was the right thing to do, and disclosed that 5 other towns in the region had also fallen to the darkness. It was the job of the Grand Seed Academy to defeat the monsters. In ancient times, their world was almost ruined by the evil god of destruction called Nestra. However, the goddess chose heroes from humanity to defeat this great evil. The people who currently wielded the power of those heroes are called successors. Faria was bestowed the power of the famous Eunomia, who also happened to be her ancestor. There are those who continue to worship the god of destruction and had formed a cult called Physis. One of the school's main objectives was to protect the world from them. Nemo still couldn't believe that he was allowed to enroll in such a famous establishment after someone gave him the confidence to apply. Faria assured him that any talents he might possess would be brought forth at the school. She even speculated that he might end up being the strongest among them. Meanwhile, back at the village, the remains from the defeated creatures came together to form a more powerful monster. It set its sights on the train and soon caught up to it and started to attack. The jolt interrupted the duo's conversation. Ellen tried to inform the president of their problem, but it was too late. The monster knocked the train from the tracks, causing it to crash. Nemo was the first to regain consciousness, but Ellen was still unresponsive. He rushed over to Faria and commented on how she protected him again. The president woke up and stumbled on her feet to face the creature. She blocked the blast it fired at them and declared herself as the leader of the 7 Knights. These were the strongest students at the academy. She charged in while blocking the monster's second blast and finished it off with a decisive strike, but the creature regenerated. It started to get the upper hand as it manifested more limbs to attack. Faria erected a shield and instructed Nemo to flee with Ellen. The next station was a mile away. She had prepared to lose her life when she joined the school. Nemo didn't want to abandon her if it meant her certain demise. The goddess gave him a chance to help by presenting him with a succession card. He was transported to another dimension where he asked for the power to help Faria. He was willing to offer his life in exchange, but the goddess recognized his resolve and revealed that the power he sought was already within him. He was confronted with his hero as soon as he touched the card. Nemo's wish to help others aligned, so he was able to access his power just in time to slice the train carriage the monster hurled to break the barrier. Faria was stunned because she had never seen a succession like Nemo's before. The boy's arm had turned into the weapon. Eunomia assured her that he was a friend and a fine hero. Nemo rushed in and cut down the smaller monsters that were unleashed at them. The president was impressed by his ability, despite Nemo's incomplete manifestation of his power. The boy retrieved Faria's weapon and passed it back to her. They decided to work together and ended up defeating the monster with a flawless combination attack. The sun rose as they marinated in their victory. Faria thanked him for saving her life. Ellen woke up as the two shook hands in hopes that they continued to work well together. The trio soon arrived at the academy, and Nemo was mesmerized by the campus. Ellen preferred doing paperwork, so excused herself to the railroad committee to report what happened. Nemo felt bad that the train was destroyed because of him, but Faria let him know that it was a small price to pay if it meant saving his life. Her lecture came to an end when Ju rolled into the campus with a monster dragon that was created by Physis. It was causing havoc in the Midlands till he froze it. He stated that it was an easy fight, but the bandages around his body told a story of struggle. Ju was a member of the 7 Knights and the Student Council. He proclaimed himself to be the strongest among them and left to deliver the dragon to the research lab for them to examine. The members of the Student Council later gathered for a meeting. Faria introduced Nemo as a new student, but shocked the council when she named him as the latest member of the 7 Knights. Shirley thought that the president was playing an April Fool's joke on them. Gareth didn't think a newcomer deserved to be placed at the top of their school's ranking so quickly. His lack of battle experience was highlighted. Ellen was berated for allowing the president to do this. She let it be known that she just went with the flow. Ju agreed with Shirley. He also thought that Nemo was too weak due to his lack of muscles. Gildan and Gareth highlighted their lack of musculature. Faria understood their worries, but she informed them that Nemo activated his power during his first ever battle. The members were surprised to hear he managed such a feat, but found it strange that Nemo didn't know the name of his hero. The boy stated that he only heard a voice. Faria let the others know that Eunomia told her to have faith in the boy. Their objections stopped after hearing more details. Ju was reluctant to show Nemo around the campus, but his tune changed when he was told that he was the best man for the job given his influence and friendly nature. He got angry at Nemo as they walked around because the boy called himself a nobody. Ju informed him that the 7 Knights were the strongest students in the academy. It was an insult to the other members if he called himself a nobody while being a part of them. Nemo apologized for his reckless talk. Ju continued his lecture by highlighting how legendary the original 7 Knights were. It was the current members' duty to use that power to protect the people. Ju was ready to give his life if it meant the complete defeat of Physis. He got offended again when Nemo wondered who would protect the people if all the heroes sacrificed their lives to defeat one evil. Their heated debate was put on hold when Sophicia, the Academy's librarian, passed by. She had heard of Nemo's contact with the goddess. The school's library contained vast information on all the heroes from the past. Students made contracts with heroes to gain power after undergoing intense training. Those who could achieve this without going through the training are said to be guided by fate. Ju was surprised to hear that Nemo might become a beacon of hope to others. The guy was also a nervous wreck around the librarian, and he was happy that she spoke to him. The two continued their tour and ended with Nemo being shown to his dorm. He was puzzled when Faria was there to welcome him. Faria had high hopes for Nemo since he made a contract with his hero outside the library. The following day in class, the legend of the 7 Knights was recapped and how they fought against the forces of evil. Nemo wondered what contribution he could bring to the group. After the lesson, Gareth turned him into a chore boy by sending him to deliver a potion to the research lab. Nemo was happy to help, and the elf found his obedience puzzling. Meanwhile, the eyes of a dragon being held at the lab storage glowed, and let's be honest, this is never a good sign. Claire was there to take the potion. She was a Gareth fangirl and didn't hide it. Ju came down to tell her to shut up about the elf. He also told Nemo to have some self-respect when he learnt that Gareth sent him. His rant was interrupted by a huge bang that rocked the building. Ju knew immediately that it had come from the warehouse. They rushed out to find that the dragon had escaped and was on top of the roof. Ju sprang into action as soon as he saw that Sophicia was in harm's way and hit the monster with an ice effect blow. He told Nemo to get the librarian and other students to safety while he dealt with the monster. He evaded its attacks and countered with a strike that split the head of the creature. Ju thought it was over till it started to regenerate. The dragon had leveled up from its last loss. Ju continued his assault, but the monster kept on coming back for more. Nemo returned to help, but his senior dismissed it at first. The newcomer activated his power and managed to bind the creature with the ropes which his weapon could fire. He held the dragon down, allowing Ju to strike at its weak point, which exterminated the monster. Ju's respect for Nemo increased greatly after seeing him in action. He revealed that he wanted to be strong after watching his dad fight bravely against monsters that attacked their home. Shirley later voiced her concerns about Nemo. She suggested he start basic training because he was too naive and vulnerable. Faria also felt the same and was even afraid of his power, but she wanted to trust Eunomia's assessment. The 7 later gathered for a meeting to discuss the increase in the appearance of monsters that were modified by Physis. They were significantly more powerful than what they had faced in the past. The cult was supposed to have been greatly weakened at the Battle of Burgo Volcano. However, it was clear that survivors had regrouped for a counterattack. Faria was confident that their large numbers at the academy coupled with their new funding would be enough to deal with the remnants. After the meeting, Nemo was confused to see everyone disappointed when Faria revealed that she had prepared food for the team. They were sick of eating her infamous croquettes. It was Nemo's first time eating it, so he loved it. On the other hand, the others were not so keen after eating it hundreds of times already. They were just happy that Nemo had the appetite to eat on their behalf. The boys later spent some time together, and Ju teased Gildan to get serious if he didn't want Nemo to overtake him. The newcomer didn't know how to react to the statement, so Gildan told him to smile if he was ever in doubt on how to respond to a situation. Nemo excused himself to gather his thoughts when he was joined by Sophitia. She commended him for his good work and basic training. The teachers were all impressed with his performance. He tried to downplay his achievement, but she let him know that they were expecting big things from him given his academic start. All the while, Ju reassured Gildan that he was joking about his remarks about the newcomer. Gildan was aware, but he personally felt like he needed to step things up. Nemo was woken up by a dream of his hero standing in the Grand Seed Library as it burned. He didn't have time to wonder what the dream meant, because the knights had been given a mission. Faria begun the briefing while on the airship. An expedition to one of the islands had requested their aid. Grand Seed were always summoned when monsters appeared that were beyond the level of local forces or the army. The monsters had gathered at one of the ruins and destroyed the silver hourglass to the humans' dismay. The 7 knights dropped from the airship like they were in a battle royale and begun attacking the flying creatures they met on their way down. The expedition captain explained the situation to Faria when they landed. There were many injured. Ellen took charge of healing them while the others showcased their skills as they eliminated the creatures that swarmed the place. Gildan's hero warned him not to go so hard because his magic was running low, but he wanted to show his power and continued to fight hard. The humans' cry of victory echoed as the last of the creatures were defeated. Gildan started his intense training when they returned and got injured, so Sophitia healed him. He went straight back to work till night when a dark energy suddenly overtook his body. Meanwhile, Ju spoke to Nemo and expressed his regret making that joke to Gildan. While venting, he revealed that Gildan was the prince of their country, so he was desperate to succeed. Faria gave her report of their latest mission, which expressed concern that Physis had targeted the hourglasses. They were a sacred artifact that the goddess used to protect and maintain the balance in the world. The principal told her that they would take over the investigation as to why it was destroyed, but he wanted her to keep an eye on Nemo. It seemed like he was not the one they needed to watch out for. Shirley rushed over just as Faria finished her meeting to tell her of the emergency. Ju and Nemo sensed the dark energy and made their way to the forest to find Gareth already facing the possessed Gildan. The elf explained that drawing out too much power can cause one's magic to run wild and attract the power of destruction. Ju thought he couldn't be saved and was ready to exterminate his friend. Nemo got smacked while he tried to protest that solution. He got an idea while he was eating dirt. With the help of his hero, Gildan tried his hardest to fight against the metal torture he was facing. Nemo and Ju used their now classic combination to hold him in place. The boys then worked together and pulled him out of the armor of darkness that covered him. The students were drawn to the light that was emitted during the extraction. Gildan thanked Nemo for finding a way to save him. Ju apologized to the prince just before he and Nemo passed out from exhaustion. Nemo woke up to Faria tending to him and got startled. He knocked her over and she ended up landing on him, which was awkward. After readjusting themselves, the student president updated him on what happened after he passed out. He was relieved to hear that Gildan was fine and even woke up before him. Nemo wanted to get up and get back to work, but Faria forbade it and ordered him to rest while she took care of him. Gildan was a little jealous that Nemo had Faria tending to him while he had Ju. Gareth wanted to know what happened for him to lose control, but the prince couldn't remember. This was normal for those who had been possessed, but was unusual for someone of Gildan's level to fall prey to such a thing. The elf suggested that it was likely caused by an external influence. He even linked it to the dragon that escaped, which only increased his certainty that something nefarious was afoot on campus. Meanwhile, Faria tried to make some porridge for Nemo and ended up burning it. She fell back on her default meal and made croquettes. Suddenly, Gildan was happy that she wasn't taking care of him. A cat came into the room as the president presented the food and apologized for her failure. Faria picked it up and disclosed it was hers. Nemo tried to pet it, but it was not fond of him. Faria continued to work overtime to take care of the newcomer. He felt guilty as she crashed out at the foot of his bed. Ellen woke her up because she had unattended office work. While she cracked on with it, the assistant divulged that Faria trained to be a 7-Knights successor since childhood because her ancestor was Eunomia. The president's determination to protect others was unrivaled. Nemo was important to her because he was the sole survivor from his village. This only made him feel like a burden. He was later visited by the boys who teased him for being Faria's pet, given the way she took care of him. Sophia also came over to see how Nemo was faring. As usual, Ju was on edge until she left. Gareth wanted their new member to heal faster, so made him an elven medicine for him to take, giving him a bit of strength to play a game of cards, and won. The topic soon changed to Nemo still not being able to talk with his hero, but he could hear him. Ju suggested he go speak to Sophia because she knew a lot about the heroes and their roots. Shirley came in to complain about their rowdiness since it was past bedtime. She was the head of the disciplinary board. She gave the president an envelope and reminded her that they had too many issues to deal with for her to have time to play nurse. Faria and Nemo later took a stroll around the dorm when the cat showed up. The president panicked because it was supposed to be in her room. She would get in trouble if Shirley found it because they were not allowed to have pets in the dorm. The pet was almost seen by the disciplinarian, but the duo managed to distract her long enough for it to escape. The duo spent the day chasing the cat till it got stuck at the rooftop. Nemo went to help it and ended up leaping over the building to prevent it from falling. I don't think he heard that cats always land on their feet. Faria made it just in time to grab him, but she wasn't able to hold on for long. They both ended up falling, but Nemo's hero gave him the strength to grab onto a nearby roof. The following day, the boy went to visit Sophia because he was eager to learn the identity of his hero. The two looked through a lot of books, but they couldn't find any clues about his hero. Sophia assured him that she would continue the investigation, so he shouldn't be disheartened. A member of the disciplinary committee named Mina noticed Nemo as he left the library. She asked for more information about him from Sophia. A couple of days passed, and more strange incidents continued to occur at the campus as students randomly collapsed. Nemo and Faria arrived at the infirmary as Ellen healed the latest victim. Shirley disclosed that he was the fourth person that week, and it was another member of the disciplinary committee. They didn't have any leads on the culprit, but Shirley had a feeling that it was linked to physis. Ellen completed the treatment and was sure that the lad would survive the assault. However, she didn't know when he would regain consciousness. She also found some bite marks on the guy's neck, which gave them their first clue that the offender was a vampire. Shirley got triggered by this revelation and promised to find the person. Mina was worried that the chairwoman was working too hard. Faria agreed, and ironically told her to delegate some of the work to others. Ellen told the president to follow her own advice. Shirley admitted that they were short-handed since a few of the committee members were taken out. Nemo volunteered to help, and Faria greenlit it before Shirley could say a word. Mina later introduced herself to Nemo and thanked him for the aid. He later told Shirley when they were alone working that he wanted to be more useful. She knew he was hiding something. She noticed that he didn't know some of the basic information about their school or the Seven Knights. She didn't care what his secret was, as long as he was on their side. She was depending on him to get to the bottom of this incident. He went to the lab to find out more information about vampires. Claire let him know that vampires were not monsters. Just like elves, beast folk, and humans, they were not fundamentally evil. She pulled out a book to find more information. Vampires could procreate through natural means and turn others into vampires by drinking their natural ketchup. Claire was sure that this was the main reason they got demonized. She gave him the book and let him know that fire was the main weakness of vampires. Claire quickly changed the topic to Gareth and started to fangirl over him again. Mina and Nemo later headed to their dorms when the girl revealed that there were rumors going around that Shirley was a vampire. All the victims in the committee worked closely with her before they got attacked. Mina was upset by this accusation and wanted to clear her name. Nemo was ready to help, so he followed her to investigate the forest on the outskirts of their campus. The duo moved through the dark and found Shirley sucking Ellen's natural ketchup. He wanted to intervene, but his hero stopped him. The boy hung back and listened a little longer as Shirley apologized like this was a regular occurrence. Ellen made it clear that she was okay with their arrangement. Mina stepped back stunned and snapped a twig, which alerted Shirley to their presence. She rushed over and was surprised to see the duo. The chairwoman left the scene. Mina tried to stop Nemo from following her, stating that she was the culprit. However, the boy wanted to hear from Shirley. Mina was annoyed by his reaction. Nemo finally caught up to her. She confessed to being a vampire, but was not the culprit. However, she wasn't surprised when Nemo asked if she was the one who attacked the other students. Shirley activated her powers and tried to force the boy out of her way, and as they clashed, she revealed how her peaceful vampire family were destroyed by a hostile group of humans because they viewed them like monsters. Shirley was the lone survivor and quickly realized that she had to hide her identity. She finally found a place of belonging at the academy, but it was ruined now that Nemo and Mina saw her. The boy pointed out that Ellen accepted her, so he didn't see why the others wouldn't. He didn't want her to leave, so he promised not to let anyone know what he saw. The lad was also sure that Mina would keep her secret because the girl cared about her. Shirley went on high alert when she spotted Ellen getting taken by enhanced monsters. Nemo used the rope function of his weapon to swing through the place like Spider-Man. The duo followed the creatures to an abandoned building where Ellen was unconscious and stuck to the wall like some gum under a high school table. They were greeted by Mina, who revealed herself to be a vampire and the culprit. She was a part of Physis and had only been acting on her orders. It's disclosed that the cult was never defeated, they just made it look like it to gather more power. She unleashed her monsters, but they were quickly dispatched. Mina yapped on about how the cult sought to destroy the world and create a new one. It would be one where vampires could live without persecution. She attacked Shirley when she rejected the offer. Nemo managed to remove her hand as they fought, but it just grew back because she had been modified by the cult's technology. Nemo and Shirley continued to engage Mina. Ironically, Shirley had the ability to use a special type of magic fire and used it to engulf herself and Mina. All the while, Nemo had a moment with his hero, which allowed him to unlock the cannon mode of his weapon. He fired a formidable energy blast at Mina, just as Shirley let go. It left a hole, causing Mina to disintegrate. Nemo shed a tear for her as the sun came up. They returned to the school where Shirley thanked him for helping her. She was still sure that he was hiding something very important. The chairwoman wanted to add her secret, so she gave him a little bite. Ellen finally woke up confused by how she ended up back at the academy. A search of Mina's room after she was exposed was conducted. Gareth had a look at some of the things that were found. She was investigating a rumor about a ghost that stayed in the old library, so he went to Sophicia for more information. She disclosed that a lot of the documents about the academy was lost in the fire. This was because the head librarian at the time, called Genius, was a member of Physis who was defeated by Eunomia. According to legend, he cast magic that still haunts the school. This was what birthed the popular ghost story. Claire caught Gareth as he left the library. The lab had some documents about the old library, and she wanted to give it to him. She offered to help him investigate, but he refused and excused himself. Claire was a little sad because all she wanted to do was help. Meanwhile, the rest of the students were in high spirits preparing for the upcoming school festival. Faria explained to Nemo the customs and activities that are held. The door to the cafeteria was stuck, but luckily Claire was passing by and used her separation magic to help open it. She joined them for tea and went on about her love for Gareth. Nemo didn't get it, so she explained the feeling, and how she became infatuated with the elf when he saved her from a monster. She was hoping to ask him to the dance, which was held on the night of the festival. Claire didn't think he would say yes, but Nemo encouraged her to ask him. His speech inspired her to do it because she didn't want any regrets. Faria didn't answer when Nemo asked her who she was planning on dancing with. The boys later gathered to talk about the ball. Ju got teased because everyone knew his dream would be to dance with Sophicia. Gildan already had multiple ladies ask him because he was the prince. They were stunned when Shirley came over and asked Nemo. He told her that he would think about it. The boys demanded to know how he pulled that one off. The student council had a meeting to decide the event they would be throwing. Some crazy ideas were rejected. Claire caught up with Gareth after the assembly and offered her help again. All she wanted was for him to go to the dance with her in return. He didn't see a problem with that and agreed. The day of the festival came, and the council decided to host a cafe where the students had the chance to be served by the superstars. Faria also asked Nemo to the dance. Shirley overheard her and popped up to ask him who he was choosing. He was saved when the prince told him to take some food to Sophicia. He promised to let the girls know later. He questioned the librarian about love, and she told him how it came in different forms and ways of expressing it. He returned after the mini-lecture and told Shirley to dance with Ellen instead of him since they were good friends and shared a feeding relationship. All the while, Claire went to explore the old library where she ended up stumbling into a hidden area. She found a door and used her magic to open it. The girl was determined to find something that would help Gareth. She proceeded and found a part of the library that wasn't destroyed. Her attention was drawn to a book on an altar that had dark aura emanating from it. Something lunged at her when she tried to touch it. In that interim, the dance had started and everyone was partnered up apart from Gareth. He waited for a while when Claire returned, seemingly unhurt. She only apologized for not being able to find anything when he asked where she had been. He took her hand, and they began to dance. The girl expressed how happy she was to share such a moment with him. She suddenly started to crystallize as she tried to tell him about the old library. Gareth let out a cry as she broke into pieces. The students congregated for her funeral to say their final goodbyes. The curse of the old library was given as the reason for her demise. Gareth observed the ceremony from a distance because he blamed himself for Claire's passing. The elf wasn't sure about his feelings for her. However, he knew that she loved him. He wished he was more responsible with that knowledge and told her not to push herself so hard just to please him. All he could do now was to find out what happened to Claire. He set off and asked Nemo to inform the president about his endeavor. Faria and Ellen were later summoned by the principal for a briefing on what the academy had learnt during their investigation. They had found a huge facility under the Burgo volcano. It also happened to be the location where Physis were supposedly defeated. The recent attacks by the cult had been mapped out, and magical power from the destroyed hourglasses was being directed to the volcano. The academy wanted to launch a decisive attack on the facility before the cult used the magic from the glasses for their evil plans. Faria was apprehensive going into the lion's den without knowing exactly what they were facing. According to their scouts, the cult's leader Amos was at the facility. There were doubts about Faria's leadership since Gareth was out doing whatever he wanted. A solid victory would shut up any haters. It was also clear to the academy that the cult had infiltrated the school. They wanted to root them out and destroy Physis before things got worse. But Arya let the principal know that she would form a squadron for the assault. Word of the operation reached the other members of the student council, and the boys were ready to crush the enemy. Nemo wanted to know more about Burgo Volcano, which was strange because it was close to his supposed home village. Shirley picked up on this oddity while the others bought his explanation. Nemo went to visit Claire's grave and was joined by Sophicia. As they discussed, she felt like Nemo would help the academy achieve its goal of bringing an end to the type of misfortune that affected Claire. All the while, Gareth continued his search and found a book that revealed that the battle between Genius and Eunomia was what caused the old library to burn. The hero lost her life to the curse shortly after her victory. This information was enough to push his investigation forward. The day for the assault on Burgo Volcano came. Ju and Gildan led the ground units. They drew attention with their advance to their objective, while the remaining members of the Seven Knights dropped down into the volcano. They were ambushed by monsters as soon as they landed, but Shirley dealt with them. Nemo backed up the girls as they proceeded through the facility. Little did they know that Amos was watching them. The party reached a room that had capsules for homunculi. They wondered what could have been in the only broken one. Their discussion was interrupted by a sudden attack. They managed to dodge it, and were shocked to see that it was launched by a trio of unknown successors. It was unheard of for servants of evil to wield the power of the successors. Retta introduced herself and stated that they were chosen by the evil god of destruction named Nestra to create their new world. Nemo warned the girls to be careful. Both sides clashed intensely. Nemo ditched his opponent to help Faria deal with Retta. She managed to hold them both off till her comrade engaged Nemo again. He didn't care that Retta was in the path of his attack as he swung down. The lad blocked it and expressed his determination to protect the world. Amos asked Nestra to grant them more power so that they could bring about the revolution. The fake successors got a power boost when they entered a possessed state, but they maintain all reasoning. All the while, Ju, Gildan, and their units fought against the hordes of monsters. The prince could feel the dark power rising since he was a victim of it in the past. In that interim, Gareth had found the area of the old library that Claire explored. He stumbled into the room and saw Physis architecture all over the place. The elf was soon ambushed by some monsters. He deduced that Claire was harmed after finding the Physis base. The elf got livid thinking about how she perished and swore to cut down all the monsters in her memory. The waves of monsters were unending, but Sophicia came just in time to assist him. She promised to explain her presence once they dealt with the immediate danger. The elf was given a book to read when they got to safety, and it seemed to expose the secret that Nemo had been hiding this whole time. Back at the volcano, those fighting outside noticed that the monsters had gotten more powerful. They knew they had to keep advancing to their target if their plan was going to work. Amy's kept an eye on things and was sure that Nemo's arrival would bring his plan to fruition. It's revealed that the cult leader had been gathering the sand from the destroyed hourglasses. During that interval, the strike party wondered how their opponents managed to keep their sanity while possessed. We learned that they had sealed their heroes and only used their powers as tools. Retta was told to stay back by her comrades because they saw her as weaker. Nemo was the first to taste their upgraded power when he got blown back. He and the girls struggled a little at first, but they soon realized that there were some caveats to their opponent's abilities when the two guys started to complain that they had lost control of their powers. Nemo tried to help by telling them to release their heroes, but they were not willing to listen. Shirley dispatched one of them and exposed that she was a vampire in the process. The other guy didn't want to meet the same fate, so he quickly retreated. Retta was left alone. Nemo asked the girls to go ahead while he dealt with her. As soon as they left, he revealed that he was the homunculus who escaped from the broken capsule. He was just like Retta and her comrades. She wanted to know why he betrayed them. As he dodged her attacks, he disclosed that he wanted a different life for himself. The boy tried to overwrite Amy's brainwashing by telling her that she had a choice to listen to her hero. She slowly inched toward losing control of her power as they clashed. Nemo got the upper hand and dashed in to finish her. Retta heard her hero telling her to fight if she didn't want to fall. An explosion of power erupted from her, causing Nemo to hold off his attack. He knew that she had heard the voice of her hero. She wanted to confront Ames to ask him why he created them. Nemo offered his hand for them to go and find out together. She called him a kind person, but the lad didn't feel that way. Meanwhile, the guy who retreated made it to Ames and was confused as to why they lost control of their powers. The leader told him that they were just pawns and eliminated him. Nemo was the true son of destruction, and Amos was looking forward to their meeting. Faria and Shirley arrived at the main hall soon after and stated their goal to stop him. Amos let the girls know that they would be part of the sacrifices, just like what Nestra told him. Faria revealed that Amos used to be a high-ranking official in the Empire before he turned to evil. He felt like that position rather showed him the corruption that had taken over the world. His aim is to tear it all down and rebuild a better society where he would be the hero and ruler. See what I did there? His name is Amos. I said his aim is...
No one cares.
Wait, who said that?
It was me. My name is Editor Kun, and I'm the editor.
How about you go drink some tea and crumpets?
And how about you stick to the story and leave your jokes out of it?
Whatever. Ames went on the offensive, but the girls managed to evade his attacks and shot a counter. They were surprised to see the cult leader unharmed. He told them that his body was immortal. Shirley didn't believe him and attacked. She managed to land a critical blow with her blade. Ames pulled it out of his body and tossed the girl away like unwanted salad in a burger to prove his claim. He confirmed Faria's suspicion that he used time manipulation to attain his immortality. Ames trash-talked those who used heroes to assist them in battle as he knocked Faria back. Nemo made it just in time to catch her. Retta surprised everyone when she followed in shortly after. During that interval, Ju and Gildan fought their way to their destination, which was the ritual site. Physis used the structure as a focal point to gather the power of the silver hourglasses. It was Ellen who found its location. Gildan completed their mission by placing a normal-size hourglass on top of the altar. The ground unit didn't know the reason they were given the objective as it was classified. Ju just hoped that there wasn't anything underhanded going on. Back underground, Retta confronted Ames for lying to them, and he confirmed once again that they were pawns. She fell into temporary despair, which soon turned to anger as she rushed to attack. She displayed her new power after becoming conscious of her hero. Ames took her strike head-on and blasted her back after regenerating his arm. Retta was left unconscious and buried in rubble. Faria wanted to know what he planned to do with Nemo after learning that he was the true son of destruction. The cult leader wanted to trigger the appearance of Nestra by sacrificing the boy's life. This would in turn give him the power to destroy the world. Those who had their wits didn't agree with his warped outlook. The party tried another assault, but they were easily overpowered and pinned down. The girls watched in horror as Ames tried to take Nemo's life. Ellen appeared, and we got a flashback to her past. She used to feel isolated because her hero had the power to control time, which gave the girl the ability to see the future. Her carefree nature was because she knew the events that would play out, which would lead to the end of the world. She was aware that Faria would have an important role in that future when they first met. The girls grew up together and became members of the Seven Knights. Ellen couldn't just use her hero powers like the others, so she wasn't aware of what would happen if she used them. The flashback ended with Ellen interrupting Ames's planned sacrifice. He was puzzled when she told him that she could see his defeat. All their preparations were completed for her to use the power from the ritual site in combination with her ability to put an end to Amos. Ellen stopped time and destroyed the ring that Amos used to tap into the power of the hourglasses in order to manipulate it. She returned the flow of time back to normal and informed the others that Amos couldn't regenerate anymore. All the damage the students took reversed. Ellen collapsed due to the strain of using her powers. Nemo and Faria gave each other a troublesome smile that communicated the hurt they were about to inflict on the cult leader. They rushed in and tag-teamed him, but he was able to hold them off for a moment until they landed their first strike. Ames blew them back and refused to fall. The students got up and Nemo charged up his cannon arm while Faria protected him. Retta finally woke up and blocked the only shot of Ames that slipped by. This allowed Nemo to fire his energy blast that overpowered the clan leader. He was surprised because he saw himself as the true hero, but soon realized that he wasn't the main character. His downfall caused all monsters to stop moving. The beam from Nemo's blast ripped a hole at the side of the volcano and into the sky for all to see. Meanwhile, at the old library, Sophicia continued the disclosure by showing her arm, which was crystallized by the curse. She had managed to pause its progression, although she knew she was just delaying the inevitable. The librarian couldn't alert anyone of her trouble, because the curse eliminated those who were aware of it. That was what happened to Claire. Gareth didn't care about the consequences. He wanted to learn the truth, so Sophicia told the true tale about Genius's betrayal. She saw the beam from Nemo's attack as she left the old library. It also resonated with the cursed book in the ruin. Back at the volcano, the facility began to collapse and Retta escaped because she didn't want to get captured. She warned Nemo of the challenges that he would face now that he was chosen as the son of destruction. The infiltration party managed to escape and return to their comrades. They all cheered as Faria announced their victory. The students returned to the academy. However, Amos managed to revive himself one last time because he had a clump of sand from the hourglass in his hand. He emerged from the rubble, but he soon started to get consumed by the curse. Nestra appeared before him and kind of looked like Sophicia. She commended his good work, but Amos wanted to know why he was given false visions of him being the hero. It was to motivate him to awaken the son of destruction and force Ellen to use her power in such a grand manner, which had now left her unable to use it again. Amy shattered as Nestra moved to the final stage of her plan, which was to destroy the world. Retta lingered around and heard everything. During that interval, the students arrived at the school, but Gareth was there with a hostile unit to apprehend Nemo because he knew the guy wasn't human. He was placed in a special cell, and Faria visited him and couldn't believe that Nemo's hero was the first librarian genius. They also learned that the curse eliminated people by locking them in time and destroying their very existence. It was assumed that this was the hero's power. Gareth joined the conversation and claimed that Nemo was the cause of all the recent calamities that befell the school. The student council had a meeting regarding this revelation. Gildan refused to believe that Nemo was the enemy. The elf presented the results of the investigation by the Academy and Sophicia. Nemo had the same makeup as the 3 artificial successors they faced in the Physis facility. It was concluded that the boy made a contract with the cursed hero and infiltrated their school. The old curse was likely activated when Nemo arrived on the campus, since it was linked to Genius. Ju noted that all the strange incidents started when the boy came. The prince wanted to remain optimistic and believed that Nemo was also a victim of Physis. Faria still thought it would be best to keep him detained till they figure everything out. This would keep the other students calm. Gareth, on the other hand, was just desperate to learn the truth. Although they saw Nemo as a friend, they would have to act against him if he was a part of the cult. Gildan was determined to clear his name and promised to do all he could. The elf later went to see Nemo again. The boy's cell was designed to keep dangerous successors imprisoned. The boy made it clear that he had no intention of using his power to harm anyone. Gareth didn't believe him and exposed Nemo's arm, which was corrupted. The boy stated that it symbolized his sin, but he had nothing to do with Claire's demise. Faria had also come down to see him, but she stayed hidden when she realized the two talking. She overheard Nemo confess to being an artificial creation made by Physis. He witnessed the other experiments lose their lives due to being failures. He heard the voice of Genius asking him what he desired, so he decided to escape and live his life. He made his way to the school to start afresh. Gareth didn't believe the boy when he said he pretended to be a human for companionship. Nemo was ready to be cut down when the elf grabbed his weapon. Gareth decided to stay his blade and wait for the final judgment. Back upstairs, Shirley had another feeding session with her good friend. During that interval, Gildan tried to use his close relation with the vice chairman of the Student Affairs Committee to plead Nemo's case. Ju pulled him to the side to discuss Nemo, and the prince was sure there was another explanation that would clear the newcomer's name. Elsewhere, Faria had a conversation with Eunomia and expressed her wish to know what happened in the old library. The ancestor showed her arm, which was affected by the curse. She told Faria that the same thing would happen to her if she wanted to learn about the truth. The president expressed her certainty that she wanted to help Nemo and stop his inevitable execution, no matter the consequences. Eunomia took her to the old library and to the room that held the cursed book. Faria stepped forward to learn the truth and was engulfed by darkness. All the while, Gildan continued his campaign when he offered to pay the debt of a member of the school board in exchange for his help in saving Nemo. The offer was too good for him not to consider. The prince came out to meet Shirley, waiting for him this time. She hoped to do all that was possible to make sure that they got a judgment that favored Nemo. Ju later trained in the woods when he was joined by Sophicia, who managed to use her charm to sway the lad to her position on the matter. The president continued her investigation and went to the house where Nemo was born. She found a picture of the lad and his family in the rubble. As she looked around, she saw a crushed hand reaching for a crystal brooch and knew it belonged to Nemo as she saw him wearing it on the picture. She was attacked by Retta just as she was about to retrieve the accessory. Faria was forced to clash with her as she tried to explain that she didn't come to capture her. Retta quickly got overwhelmed, but her hero granted her more power to complete her succession when she disclosed her true desire. She was still defeated, and Faria made her a temporary ally after explaining the situation to her. Nemo was later brought out for the final judgment. It was decided that the boy would be eliminated to prevent any spread of the curse. Ju also agreed with Sophisha's wish. Gildan and Shirley interrupted to present an imperial order from the capital to pause any execution. They didn't think there was enough evidence to prove that Nemo was working for Physis. His help to fight against the cult afforded him the benefit of the doubt till all the facts were established. Sophisha simply stated that the order came too late. She wanted them to eliminate Nemo, and she would bear the costs associated with ignoring an imperial order. Faria dropped down just in time and blocked Ju and Gareth's attack. She stated that she had learned the truth. She presented the brooch and revealed that the artificial creature that stood before them eliminated the real Nemo, took his identity, and then enrolled in the school. The boy confessed to taking his memories and likeness. He was ready for the penalty for his sin. However, Faria wasn't about to punish, but rather protect him as she promised. She managed to hold their attacks just long enough for them to get on the airship. Retta stunned Ju when he attempted a follow-up strike. Sophisha had a sinister smile as they escaped. Nemo was shocked to hear that Sophisha was the real leader of Physis. She was an avatar for the god of destruction, and exploited Amos to do her bidding. Sophisha knew that Nemo's hero was genius this whole time, but said nothing, because she wanted him to use his powers to remove the seal on the old library. It was suspected that his cannon attack might have been the trigger that weakened the seal. The power of destruction started to spread. The Academy's measuring instruments estimated that the world would be destroyed in 6 hours if nothing was done. Gareth left to find a way to eliminate Nemo. The remaining members of the student council had a meeting, and it was clear to Shirley and Gildan that the only way to stop this would be to exterminate their new friend. The elf went to Sophisha to gain the power to defeat Nemo. She loved his zealousness and granted him the power of darkness. Meanwhile, Nemo and Faria had a deep conversation as she showed him her cursed hand. They realized that they wanted to be by each other's side as they tried to save the world. They came up with a plan to stop the calamity. Ellen was aware of the dire situation, so she chose to use her powers to assist, knowing that she would likely lose her life. In that interim, Faria and Nemo dropped down in the woods near the old library. They were met by the remaining members of the student council who tried to stop them. Retta held them off, allowing the duo to proceed forward. As she clashed with them, she revealed that Sophisha was the real mastermind. Shirley had some reservations about the librarian. Gildan was also ready to find out for sure, because in their hearts they didn't believe that Nemo was evil. Hearing this triggered Ju to get protective over Sophisha. He was corrupted by her, so got possessed by the power of destruction. This confirmed Retta's claim. The prince asked the girls to go support Nemo while he tried to help Ju regain his senses. Nemo and Faria entered the room with the cursed tome. Eunomia revealed it to be the Book of Time, which was a seal left behind by Genius to keep the power of destruction from ending the world. There was no curse, but Genius and Eunomia made it up to keep people away. Those who learned the truth by getting close would be erased from the world. Sophisha disturbed Storytime and revealed that she was there on that day too. Her aim was to use the power of destruction to cleanse the world. However, Genius eliminated her and used his soul to create the seal after the battle with Physis. She turned her soul into a snake and survived by possessing different people throughout the ages. Faria engaged her while Nemo charged up his cannon. A corrupted Gareth came out of nowhere and cut the boy's arm. Sophisha backstabbed the elf since she was done with his services. The seal was completely shattered now that Nemo had lost his life. Ellen came in clutch and used her time powers to revive him. In the process, the boy had a meeting with the real Nemo, who told him to live because his life wasn't his own anymore. Faria's call helped to guide him back to the world of the living, and he stood up ready to protect Faria and everyone dear to him with the help of Genius's power. Ellen was already feeling the side effects of using her power, but she was happy with her choice because she could now see a bright future for everyone. Faria thanked her for her sacrifice and placed her down in order to face the impending danger. Sophisha absorbed the Book of Time and transformed into a giant, hideous monster in preparation to bring the world to an end. During that interval, Gildan was able to bring Ju back to his senses and told him of Sophisha's betrayal. They rushed to the school campus when they saw the mayhem that Sophisha was causing. She pinned down those who stayed still and unleashed a swarm of monsters that attacked the students. Faria arrived and quickly started organizing everyone in their class ranks. Nemo dodged the blast that Sophisha aimed at him, and as he took shelter, Genius informed him that the lady had merged with the mass of destructive energy. The old librarian told him to shoot his cannon at her at close range to seal it. Retta gave him some cover and stated that Gildan, Ju, and herself had his back. Meanwhile, at the library, Shirley came to Ellen's side. She couldn't bear losing her friend, so she turned her into a vampire so that they could be in each other's company forever. Ellen didn't account for this possible outcome in her future, but she loved it. Back outside, Nemo and Faria tried to get close to Sufficia, but a wall of dark power prevented them from proceeding. The president prepared to use all her power to open a way when Gareth came back from the brink to help. He could now see that he was fooled by Sufficia and wanted to atone for his actions. He opened a path for the duo at the cost of great damage to himself. The couple confronted the smaller version of Sufficia on top of the giant body. As she explained her twisted reasons, it became clear to Nemo that the lady loved genius. The students believed their desire to save the world from evil was stronger and engaged Sufficia. The couple swiftly dodged the barrage of attacks and countered with a combined magic blast that overpowered Sufficia and ripped her in half. Her giant form was destroyed, leaving all parties exhausted. Sufficia still had the destructive energy within her body and released it. Nemo had no other option but to use the dark power he was created from. He revealed his true form and apologized to Faria for lying about his identity. He was stunned when she accepted him. This gave him the courage to face Sufficia one last time. It turned into a good old brawl as they exchanged heavy blows. It was revealed that the old Nemo willingly gave his life knowing his identity would be taken by the homunculus. The homunculus wasn't going to let such efforts go to waste. He had one last critical clash with Sufficia, and they both took significant damage. Nemo used the last of Genius's magic energy to seal the power of destruction. The skies quickly cleared, the monsters disappeared, and a larger version of the Book of Time appeared next to an unconscious Nemo. The students wasted no time and started to rebuild their school. Retta was enrolled at the academy. Gareth survived his ordeal and apologized to everyone for his behavior. He teared up when they accepted him back. Nemo had lost his succession powers, so Faria left the academy and joined the boy on a journey to find a way to destroy the Book of Time forever. The couple were just happy to be traveling together, bringing this crazy story to an end. Thanks for watching. Now go level up. See you in the next recap. Peace.